From a Digit Systems perspective, the Dynamic Edge Applications Catalyst allows us to demonstrate a complex scenario where a customer is able to purchase a SD-WAN virtual connection along with compute capability and an application sitting over the top of all of that within a single mechanism. That scenario is modeled using the TMF SID to align the product and services layers and to relate those specific services with the product layer and the offering layer. All right, if we have a look at Telflow, I'm going to create a new sales order. A sales order is effectively just a collection of product orders, and we want to order some SD-WAN ready products. So I've already selected my customer, IBM. I'll give it a sales order name. We might put in a purchase order number or something for a reference number. And now what I need to do is I need to add individual product orders to my sales order construct. So I want to sell a SD-WAN virtual connection, and we'll add that in. And we can see here that there's a dependency on the SD-WAN virtual connection and an SDWAN underlay, which I don't have in this product yet. Now I can select from an existing SD-WAN underlay that this customer might have, and so I can see that they've got one active there, and I could select that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to order a new underlay in this time around, and we'll add that into our sales order. Now you can see that both of these products require some configuration. So let's jump in and we'll configure each of these. Our SD-WAN underlay is site specific, so I'm going to put in do a search for the site address so we can see our results there. We can see the orders, the inventory that's already been ordered for this site, any trouble tickets, any orders, and so forth. For now, it's a business address and it's serviceable. So let's add this site. Now I need to put in a customer reference number and an order priority. We can see we've got a number of characteristics here that are editable. So I can select Internet or MPLS. The access type will go with Ethernet. The link bandwidth, let's say they want a gigabit connection. And that's driven dynamically the service template that we can select with this. So when we select 1000 megabits, we only get 1000/200 or 1000/500 or 1000/1000. If I were to choose a different speed here, say 100, then we only get the 100 megabit speeds. So anyway, let's go back to 1000. We'll pick the 1000 megabit symmetric. Do we want a local breakout or not? Yes, in which case we want to connect an internet breakout for our SD-WAN connection. An enhanced service level, say bronze, and you can see what we're doing is we're dynamically calculating the price over here on the right hand side. So I've got a default price of $800 to install, and this customer might be a particularly good customer, so I'm only going to charge them $200 for this particular install. Our monthly ongoing charges aren't going to change though. Our normal default time period is going to be 12 months, but I can change that if I want a longer term, say 36 months. We'll save the changes. Now that particular product is ready to order. I need to configure my SD-WAN virtual connection now, and again I need a customer reference, an urgency here, and if I scroll down you can see that there are some characteristics here that I can modify and some that are locked from me modifying. I might select an overlay tunnel. I might change the uptime objective. So if we go with say 99.98 availability and the virtual connection is through say Vodafone, then all of these things can potentially have an effect on the monthly prices. If I select 5 nines, then as you would expect, the price per month goes up quite a bit. And we can select our SD-WAN policies here. So we've got some different policy types here. with a range of different criteria. Assuming that's all okay, let's save our changes. And just close this one down. So you can see we've got our sales order summary price up the top here. I've got a couple of other products that I want to add in. So I want to add in a compute node because I might have an IoT application and I need to configure that. So I need to go back to my site. We'll find my search. So this is already done the SQ for this site, so I don't need to redo it again. We'll just add that site in. We'll add our customer reference in. We want to select a deployment date, so we want it next Thursday. What level of availability do we want for this compute node? Say 99.98. And how many cores? Let's say 6 cores and 32 gigabytes of RAM, and we want say 5 terabytes of storage, storage class. We need to give it a resource group name. So this, if my application is a smarter chicken farm app, then we might say smart chicken app group. And this particular server is SM Chicken 01. This will be version 1.0 of the image that we're going to use, and we want this to be deployed at the edge of the network rather than in the core. And so again, we've dynamically calculated our price. The default again is for 12 months, but let's say we want to extend this out to 36 months as well. So let's save the changes. Now let's say I also want to deploy IBM Edge server to control dynamically where in my network that load is going to be distributed. So again, I'm going to select my IBM Edge here. It's not site specific, so I don't need to select a site there. Let's configure that. A reference number. We'll give a policy ID number. We've got some different modes of operation for autonomy, so we want it to be edge heavy for this particular IoT platform. It's not a mobile or mobile IoT, it's a straight IoT platform, so we'll call it Smart Chicken App. We'll give it a, we could put some additional fields in here. We don't need to, they're not that concerning. Let's add our term to 36 months and save our changes. So assuming we're all okay with this, we've got our total, we're in a draft state at the moment. Let's start our quote process. And what this is effectively doing is transitioning our sales order into an in-flight stage, and we can see that some of our products have been have already transitioned into the, let's move this along, have already transitioned into an in-progress state. And if we look at each of these in turn, we can see, for instance, our IBM Edge server is being provisioned by iTential, and we can see we've done a decomposition of the product to the underlying service, and then we've placed service orders southbound to iTential, and we can see the payload for that service here. That's setting up the IBM Edge server. Again, if we go and have a look at the payloads for our SD-WAN virtual connection, and we look at service, we can see that we've got an initial decomposition of the product into its underlying services. If we look at the particular service order that's gone southbound to iTential, we can see that we're ordering a new SD-WAN virtual connection policy map. We've got a SD-WAN virtual connection endpoint and a an SD-WAN uni as all within this one payload southbound to Itential. We can see an initial response back from Itential saying that we're in a pending state. So we can see all three service orders are in a pending state in this particular case. Let's just refresh this view. The browser. Go back to System. And we can see now that we've now received service order notifications coming back from Itential. Look at this first one and we can see that the status is in progress. And if we look at our final order there, we can see that it's completed. And now if we go back up to our sales order, we can see that all of the product orders within this sales order have successfully completed.